everybody, and welcome back to G for G, Games for Gamers. Today we're here in Marvel Avengers Alliance. The background music is brought to you by the Chrono Trigger OST, the original game. So we've had the Chrono Cross as background, today we've had Chrono Trigger. We're going to take a look at a team-up that I've noticed has got really good synergy. I was leveling them together. It's worked out fantastic. And I call it Team Agents of Venom. It's going to be Mockingbird and Agent Venom. And for those who don't know, Adrian Palecki from G.I. Joe in the remake of Red Dawn is going to be playing Mockingbird in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show that I believe is going to be starting soon. I totally admit I've not watched the first season of it, but I'll try to give the show a shot. I sort of was avoiding it because I didn't think there was going to be a lot of heroes in it, and I thought it might be boring, but supposedly it's quite good. If you'll give me just a moment over here, I'm looking through my people because I want to start Hercules training because I have some quests to use him, and I don't know why I'm so stupid that I cannot find my Hercules over here. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go A to Z and find him that way. Wow, I'm just dumb. Okay, so my magic is gonna be training up to, I think she's headed up to 12. So let's take a look at the team over here. My agent is running a really big setup for the team, but he does have a put-away punch himself. He's running Ex Obliv and Gaunt Caress. The reason why I'm running two pieces of the set is so that I get opportunistic debuffs and pressure point. There's a reason for that. The pressure point is really big for the team. That's the setup for Mockingbird. Opportunistic is the setup for the out-of-control version of Venom. The Serpentine Staff is his big put-away weapon because he will be exploiting what the Ex Obliv does and a little bit of what Venom can do. This is a highly recommended weapon for this set. It's one of the ones that you may not want to change. If you don't have Ex Obliv, you could get the flashy gun for opportunistic and a chakra strike for pressure points, except that this is AoE and it's stealthy, so it's nice to just apply it to everybody. The problem is this is a little bit of a stamina heavy set. Really do run out of stamina pretty easy for this. There is one item in the store that can help out this team a little bit, and I'll go ahead and point it out. It is the Crystal S.H.I.E.L.D. It's about 36 gold, so it's not horrible. You know, it can help a little bit. Here it is, it's the Crystal S.H.I.E.L.D. It has a chance to counter all attacks, and it applies pressure points. So it applies pressure points when you use it, and when it counters, and that's decent top-end damage over there. As you can see, the transcranial stimulator is a little bit more, but like the post over here is way less. So that kind of gives you an idea of where the Crystal S.H.I.E.L.D. stands in terms of damage. Here's the Enchanted Crowbar, which does some solid debuffs over here. Dizzy, Exposed, and Slowed can be exploited, of course. And I'll show you where that comes into play. Dizzy, Exposed, Slowed, Stunned, Weakened. So the Enchanted Crowbar can also help set up for Mockingblow, and the Enchanted Crowbar counters, so that's pretty nice. So let's go ahead and see this team in action, and you'll see the setup for it. Agent Venom is somewhat of a solid infiltrator in the fact that he can help shut down his counterclass, which is Scrappers. And I'll show you that. once we get started over here. The group has got phenomenal synergy, and they just keep setting each other up, which is really, really good. Unfortunately, we get 3 attacks going before I do. So the Gaunt Caress should fire. And Mockingbird's going to be attacked. Ah, that sucks when that misses. Alright, so we're going to lead with the Ex Obliv, which is always good when it goes before Mockingbird. Alright, so she leads with Tactical Insight, always. And because she is a tactician, we're going to go ahead and hit the Hydra armor, because it's going to jump in and block. And we're just going to remove buffs over here. We're not going to hit with the staff quite yet. Alright, so he is going to lead with his AoE pressure points. This is one of the big reasons why Venom is here. This is a very good lead attack, and it shuts down partially enemy infiltrators. If there's a scrapper, you're going to want to start with Go Long, which will create a disadvantage. If there is somebody on your team that you need to protect from a counterclass, that's where you want to start with Go Long. Advanced combat training is a decent setup for Mockingbird because of the wide open, and that's how you get rid of a tank. So I could actually do this to the power armor, but I'm going to do AoE pressure points just to make sure those debuffs are out there. And now we have to wait for all this garbage. Maybe he'll hit. Good, he went for Sin. Sin went for Agent Venom, and he's out of control in front of a blaster. Alright, so Mockingbird's going to go and destroy this power armor with a huge hit, 17.7k. Warning to everybody, Mockingblows sometimes shows a possible weak amount of damage in the mouse over. Have faith that Mockingblow is going to give you a huge hit. It most likely will give you a bigger hit than you can predict. Now, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and Serpentine Staff Sin. And you can see that's a phenomenal hit, and that was much bigger than predicted. For Venom, here's where he can exploit the opportunistic debuffs. You're always going to want to start with We Are Venom to give him an extra attack. And here's what's going to happen. Exploit opportunity, exploit power points over here. That's going to do both good exploitations back to back. And you'll see the damage ramp up over here. And I didn't mean to go for Sin. Well, so pretty good damage. But he is immediately under control. He doesn't stay in that form really, really long, which is kind of a shame. But Mockingbird has a extra attack now, so we'll just go ahead. And as you can see, it was predicted Mockingblow was not going to kill that guy. And surprisingly, he's out of control again. That's really surprising. So, watch the big hit coming over here on Sin. Oh, that one's actually very weak. I was surprised. So that's kind of an example of a mixed bag over here. Now let's work with a Scrapper, and you'll see how to protect against a Scrapper. It's the Millennial Fair. Alright, so Agent Venom goes first, which is good, and we're going to protect ourselves from the Scrapper by leading with the disadvantage. Now, it says he has the close quarters combat, but in reality he doesn't. Since no pressure points are out, we're going to go ahead and lead with her level 1. We're going to go to a bruiser, we're going to get the enrage. And she didn't gain her extra turn, which is surprising. Now, here comes the big meat of the set, the double Ex Obliv. So now, as you can see, he's up to 12. Look at that. That is just waiting for Mockingbird and the Venom form over here. So now, let's just make sure that he's still winded. So he's still winded, he can't follow up. Now we can go ahead and do other things. So, let's go ahead, we can, you know, put him deadly crits over here from the Hail Mary, but that doesn't really help anybody. And it's bleeding and burning to other targets. It won't happen to him. So we're just going to make sure that we're continuing to stack pressure point debuffs here. And now here comes Mockingbird, who's double enraged. 22k hit. Fantastic, isn't it? So, now that you've seen the group in action, what ISOs can you run with the team? And what alternate gear can you run with the team over here? Well, she's running Morale Boost, and you can run any other solid generalist one over there. I have her applying Wide Open with this. This way she doesn't have to rely on anybody else. If she twin strikes somebody and then eventually mockingblows them, Wide Open will help that out. For Agent Venom, honestly, I think the two best ones that you could do at this point are Sting and Ukemi. You would want to apply Sting for the counterattack supply poison, which is an attrition, which will help out. Along came Venom. I wonder, does this cause him to bleed? This should cause somebody to bleed, you know? He exploits attrition, but he never really can do any attrition himself. It'd just be nice if he could set that up a little bit better. This should apply bleeding, honestly. So, I would go with Sting and Ukemi here. Now, ISOing Venom, Agent Venom, is the hardest thing you could ever possibly imagine in this game. It just doesn't work. And here's why. Look at this. Melee unarmed, melee slashing. This is the easiest rank right here. Apply a melee related ISO over here. But things are going to get really worse really quickly. Ranged gun, melee unarmed. You can't do anything over there. Honestly, you could apply... Well, since he already applies locked on, that's good. You don't have to worry about aiming. What you want to do over here is... I believe there's one in the store that's going to be good for that. And it's towards the last page. It's not the pugilist. It is sniping. Here it is. Equipped gun attack gains guaranteed hit. That's really good. If you want to have somebody that you want to disadvantage, you want to make sure it hits. Same thing goes for Bullet Blitz. Again, ranged gun buff. You could apply Gracious over here to give your team some stamina. I just think he spends a good 75 to 80% of his time as an infiltrator, so favor the gun. And this is a very, very big setup ability for the team. So I would apply sniping to this, and I would ignore We Are Venom. However, over here for this ability, his level 9, you have melee slashing and ranged explosion. I would apply the Vorpal. I would ignore the bomb and go for this, because this one needs a little bit of help more than this one does. And this one can really get going. If you boot bust or protection bust or exploit attrition, this becomes a very, very powerful move. And this one, it's just a way of applying a little bit of bleeding and burning to other people other than the main target. It's a good way to hit people you don't want to hit directly, like if you don't want to get an infiltrator pissed at you. But I think the Vorpal is the better choice over there. So what weapons can you use in this group that you may not have, like Ex Obliv, Gaunt Caress, and everything like that? Well, this gun over here is an opportunistic gun. The flashy gun applies opportunistic to the entire team. that's a good way to go. Obviously, we've discussed the Chakra Strike, we've discussed the Enchanted Crowbar, the Crystal Shiv, the Serpentine Staff you don't have to run. You can maybe do a Paragon Exploiter over here, maybe another setup item, maybe something like the Neurotrope, but this allows the agent to be more than just support. It gives him a put-away weapon of his own. And yeah, that's pretty much what you can do over here. You can run Havok with Mockingbird and just go to pressure points, but with Agent Venom and Mockingbird and getting the two-step Ex Obliv, there's just a little bit of synergy there. So, I hope you enjoyed this video here on G4G, Games for Gamers, and enjoyed the team-up of the Agents of Venom. And stay tuned, maybe we'll have some new content to talk about this weekend. Take care, everybody.